Okay, so I had the article Supporting Disciplinary Talk from the Start of School, Teaching Students to Think and Talk Like Scientists. It was published in 2017. It was by the Journal of the Reading Teacher, and it was the authors are Tanya S. Wright and Amelia Wank Gottwals. The article talks about why we should support um, like academic language from the beginning of school, and it's like long-term like development that it has on students. They talk about a program that they did, and just some strategies. So some takeaways that I have from the article, it said that there was substantial evidence that academic language, meaning like the ability to use and understand the formal language of books and school, and then also content knowledge, like, well, specifically in this one was about science, and how they're critical for students' reading comprehension and long-term success as literacy learners. And then it also goes on to mention that studies have shown that both oral language and content area learning are neglected areas of focus in the early years of schooling. I think it said somewhere in the article too that it was like students in the early ages get like more like less than 2.3 minutes a day of science or something like that. And then it says students with limited vocabulary are likely to have difficulty with reading comprehension throughout their schooling. And then it like went on to go and explain that how critical it is to have teachers teach the specialized ways of using language in different disciplines, because novice learners may not pick up this disciplinary talk without instruction. For example, like how a scientist would talk, and like ask like specific questions that a scientist would ask. Then it goes on to mention this program that they started. So the whole article is talking about how we should start like using disciplinary talk from like the beginning of school. So they used a program with kindergartners, and it was called the Solid Start program. It Solid stands for Science, Oral Language, and Literacy Development, and basically it was that they would like these kids were taught differently, so that way they could see like if we teach them the academic vocabulary and if we scaffold it and all this stuff, then like is it going to benefit them. And it gave an example. So it was like, if Ella thinks the ant is a producer, do you agree with her? And then the Solid Start program, like the kindergartner that was in that program, would answer like, no, because he's a consumer, he needs food, or no, because they're herbivores. So it just gave an example of like how like capable that they're capable of learning like the vocabulary, and also able to use it like through ideas, and like have this like sophisticated like science talk. Um, it mentioned some 5 strategies that the Solid Kids used, which was one was ask, which is talk about guiding questions. Two, explore, talk about active engagement with science phenomena. Three, read, talk about read alouds. Four, write, talk about drawing and writing. And five, discuss, which is talk to like scaffold explanations. So in conclusion, when teachers support students, and they do the 5 strategies, the ask, explore, read, write, and discuss the science ideas, they can increase their opportunities for like doing the sophisticated like science talk and in the primary like grades, because this is what it was focused on, because like students are capable of learning and producing this kind of disciplinary talk if teachers are able to scaffold and teach them like that. Overall, I really enjoyed the article. I think it provided a lot of really good information. It was super helpful. Um, I like how it provided the examples, like one of the examples that I mentioned earlier, but they had more than that. And then um, I wish that they had provided a little bit more information on like the program that they did, like how it like continued, like did they do good like in the rest of the years of school, because it was just in kindergarten, like it didn't say anything else like after that. Um, but I think that it really like explains a lot about like what we've been talking about in class, like in how we should think like scientists and teach our kids to like think like scientists. But overall, I think it was a good article.